Disorder is rippling across the Middle East as well, with large-scale protests breaking out in Iran. Demonstrators are pushing back against economic hardships, government crackdowns. All this as frustration with the regime has resulted in at least 63 deaths, thousands more arrested. As a result, the Iranian government has cut internet access and all telephone lines across the country. They're hoping to tighten control as unrest grows. President Trump says the U.S. will intervene if peaceful protests are met with violence. Joining us to discuss, United States Marine Corps retired Colonel Mark Cancian. Colonel, welcome back. Good morning.
Thanks for having me on the show.
President Trump said this in a response to those protests in Iran. I'll talk to you on the other side, sir.
The protesters, I just hope, just God bless them. I just hope the protesters in Iran are going to be safe, because it's a very dangerous place right now. And again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting, because we'll start shooting too.
Your reaction?
Well, the Iranian leaders are already shooting. We've seen that there are many casualties, 63.
Yeah.
And the president has very few levers here. Tehran is at least 500 miles from the Persian Gulf, where the United States has military forces. We can't do a Maduro kind of snatch or Maduro kind of raid. We could launch a punitive missile strike to try to make a political point with them, but our levers are very few.
I mentioned the Iranian government has responded to these protests by a communications blackout throughout the country. They shut down power. They've shut down the internet. They're hoping that these videos that we're looking at don't spread on social media. Despite their efforts, we're seeing these videos. They're coming out of the country. What are the risks to both civilians and military with such little communication access in that entire country?
Well, the Iranians customarily will clamp down when there are disturbances. They clamp down ruthlessly, and this is part of that. They hope that by shutting down the internet, it makes it harder for the demonstrators to create a demonstration, to gather together through networking. It's important to keep in mind that these kinds of demonstrations have occurred every 3 or 4 years since the Iranian Revolution of 1979. We hope that this produces a fairer and less aggressive regime. But in the past, despite the disturbances being quite extensive, the government has always been able to crush them.
On Friday, the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, posted this on social media. He wrote, quote, "The U.S. president who judges arrogantly about the whole world should know that tyrants and arrogant rulers of the world saw their downfall when they were at the peak of their hubris. He too will fall," end quote. The Ayatollah then signed an upcoming crackdown on protests that he's calling, or the government there is calling, ruining their streets for Trump. At what point, when's the breaking point here?
Well, it's clear that the government is trying to tie the protesters to Trump, who is not very popular in the Middle East or in Iran, and to deflect the criticism of their incompetent managing of the economy. It's important to keep in mind that this is an economic protest. This isn't about democracy. It's not about theology. It's about basic economics. The government has ruined the economy, and the people have got tired of that.
Colonel, let's move on to Greenland. President Trump had this to say about the biggest island in the world.
But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not. But if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
What does this mean? And more importantly, for our viewers, why is obtaining control of Greenland so important to our president?
Well, on the first item, of course, there's been a lot of concern about that kind of rhetoric. The president clearly threatening military force. He has not ruled that out. This is a NATO nation. It's a very different situation from Venezuela, for example. The puzzling thing is that Denmark and Greenland are willing to give the United States essentially whatever it wants. If we want to increase our military presence, they're willing to do that. Our military presence on Greenland was much larger in the Cold War, and it continues now. If we wanted mining arrangements, they'd be willing to do that. This looks like President Trump's negotiating tactic, that is, threatening, bullying, and then trying to make a deal.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.